Can we have volunteers for these things? Sanskrit?
I can read, Maharaj.
Okay, thank you. Translation? No one wants to read translation?
I can do them again. Oh, you can do the Mataji.
Okay, and purport?
I can read the purports.
Okay, good. So text 18, I hope all of you can see that on your screen. Please.
Asman matcharanam goshtam mannatham matparigraham gopaye swatma yogena so ayam me vratahita.
I must therefore protect the cowherd community by my transcendental potency, for I am their shelter, I am their master, and indeed they are my own family. After all, I have taken a vow to protect my devotees.
Purport?
The word Matcharanam indicates not only that Lord Krishna was the sole shelter for the Vrajajana, the people of Vrindavan, but also that Lord Krishna had established his home among them. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur quotes from the Anakarta Varga dictionary, Sharanam Graha Rakshitro. The word Sharanam can represent either home or protector. The residents of Vrindavan adopted Krishna as their beloved child, friend, lover, and life itself, and the Lord reciprocated their feelings. Thus, Sri Krishna lived among these fortunate people, moving in their houses and fields. Naturally, he would protect such intimate devotees from all types of danger.
All right, thank you. And we'll read from Vishwanath Chakravarti. Thakur, Sri Krishna here proposes that our work, karma, for occupation is really God. Oops, sorry. Wrong chapter. Krishna said, I will protect the coward community, Gostham, from this disturbance created by Indra because Braj is my home. Matcharanam means Charanam. And I'm the master, Matnatha, of the house. The Anakarta Varga dictionary says the word Charanam can mean either home or protector. Yeah, it's the same what we read in here. Krishna said, Vraja is the place where my father, brother, and dear ones live. Not only I will protect these people from this disturbance, but I protect all people. Even at the time of Mahapralaya, annihilation of the universe, to indicate this, Krishna says, I have taken this vow. Me brata ahitaha. So here we can see that Krishna is protecting everyone, and what he will use for protection, he will use Govardhan Hill. So I think we've mentioned before that Govardhan has 3 primary functions. Anyone remembers? First, providing, second, protecting, and third, uniting. And all these 3 functions will be revealed in this chapter. Okay, next, 19.
इत्युक्त्वैकेन हस्तेन कृत्वा गोवर्धनाचलं ददारलीलया विष्णुश्चक्राकमिव बालकः.
Having said this, Lord Krishna, who is Vishnu himself, picked up Govardhan Hill with one hand and held it aloft just as easily as a child holds up a mushroom.
Okay. And sorry. Stuck. Purport.
It is confirmed that in the Harivamsa, that Sri Krishna picked up the Govardhan mountain with his left hand. Sardrita Sangata Megergiri Savenya Panina. With his left hand, he picked up that mountain, which was touching the clouds. According to Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, when Lord Krishna was preparing to lift Govardhan Hill, a partial expansion of his Yoga Maya potency named Samhariki temporarily removed all the rain from the sky, so that as he ran very swiftly from the porch of his house to the mountain, neither his turban nor his other garments became wet.
Krishna is really lucky, huh? Nothing ever happens to him. Yeah, Bhagavan. Bhaga can mean opulence, but can also mean fortune. Sometimes we also use this word for opulence, fortune. So, but fortune also means being lucky. So we can see that Krishna is in such a great position that nothing ever happens to him. So let's see if Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has any more to say, even though this purport is based on his statement. So yeah, he mentioned also, yeah, it says about the left hand. So with the umbrella of Giriraja, Krishna blocked the Samvartaka clouds and created a living space in the form of a house beneath the mountain. Krishna held the mountain without any difficulty, just like a child holding a mushroom. When Krishna was preparing to lift Govardhan Hill, a partial expansion of his Yogamaya potency named Samhariki temporarily removed all rain from the sky, so that as Krishna ran very swiftly from the porch to his house to the mountain, neither his turban nor other garments became wet. So same thing. But what's interesting here, first of all, Krishna's behavior. Krishna knows that it is Indra who is attacking Vrindavan, and this is why he's God, right? Because everything about him is uncommon. What would be the common reaction if someone causes the trouble? And we have great power, we have unlimited power. What would be the common reaction? Probably it would be to punish the wrongdoer, right? Krishna is not doing that. Krishna is allowing Indra to do what he wants, and at the same time, Krishna is doing what he wants, right? That's very interesting, that Krishna is the Supreme Lord who is fulfilling everybody's desire. Eko bahunam yovidadati kaman. So Indra wants to attack Vrindavan, and Krishna is allowing him to do it. But Krishna doesn't want Brajabasis to be in trouble with that, so he is coming up with very out-of-box solution. He's thinking, okay, raining, so what do we need? Umbrella. So what can serve as an umbrella big enough for everyone? So, okay, Govardhan Hill can be a good umbrella. So he's lifting Govardhan Hill, and actually, you can imagine. Anyone remembers how old Krishna was when he lifted Govardhan Hill?
7.
7 years old, yeah, just, first grader. And then this little boy is lifting this huge mountain. How do you think Mother Yashoda reacted to that? She became really worried. right? And then Krishna is showing his mother that it's not very difficult job for him. It's really left hand job for him, right? So he holds Govardhan with his left hand. And not only that, how does he hold it?
With a little pinky.
finger. Yeah. And yeah, so he's kind of pacifying Mother Yashoda that it's not a big deal for me to hold this mountain. And he's just enjoying. And yes, it's described also in scriptures that when Krishna lifted Govardhan hill, normally if you lift, like, of course we cannot lift mountain, but if you like dig the earth or whatever, there is nothing really like attractive in must be underneath, right? But amazingly enough, when Krishna lifted Govardhan hill, you know what Brajabas is so underneath? Anyone knows? Anyone heard or read what Brajabas is discovered underneath Govardhan hill? Anybody wants to know?
Yes.
Okay. So when Krishna lifted Govardhan hill, they discovered that underneath the hill, there were gardens, pavilions, nice houses, whole city was underneath the hill. And it was like perfectly clean and very nicely decorated. They were really surprised. And Krishna said, come on in. So this is what happened. All right, so let's read on. Text 20.
अताह भगवान् गोपान् हे अम्बतात व्रजौकसः यतोपजोषं विशत गिरिगर्तं सगोधनः.
The Lord then addressed the cowherd community. O mother, O father, O residents of Braja, if you wish, you may come under this hill with your cows.
Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur provides the following insight in this regard. Ordinarily, a large cowherd community, which included many thousands of cows, calves, bulls, and so on, could not fit under the base of a medium-sized hill like Sri Govardhan. However, because the hill was in ecstasy, being touched by the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it acquired inconceivable power and even felt the hundreds of deadly thunderbolts thrown upon its back by angry Indra to be offerings of soft, fragrant flowers. At times, Sri Govardhan was not even aware that the thunderbolts were striking. From the Harivamsha, the Acharya has also quoted Sri Krishna himself as saying, Trilokyam apu sahate rakshitam kim punarvrajam. Sri Govardhan can give shelter to all the, I can't see what's behind that.
All the three worlds.
All the three worlds. What to speak of the simple land of Vraja. When Indra's attack began and Krishna lifted the hill, the deer, wild hogs, and other animals and birds standing on the hill's flanks climbed up to its peaks, and even they did not experience the slightest distress.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much everything's covered. What Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, with a little exception of that Govardhan expanded his form to 32 miles so that all the inhabitants, cows, buffaloes, and other animals could live comfortably beneath his shelter. Vardhan, right? Vardhan means expand, increase. So Govardhan can expand unlimitedly. this is what was actually originally happening when Shri Govardhan was created. Did we tell the story how Govardhan appeared in the spiritual world?
No, we didn't.
Okay. Shall we tell the story?
Yes, Maharaj.
So, before Govardhan appeared in this world, and yeah, I think it's very important for us to understand who is Govardhan, because at some point, Sri Govardhan was not there, even in the spiritual world, what to speak of material world. And Srimati Radharani was sitting one time and she was absorbed in some thoughts and she was not looking very happy. And Krishna saw her and he asked what's happening. And she said, we have everything in Galoka. We have nice gardens and lakes and caves and rivers and gardens, but it's also spread around. And I would like to have one place which has all these features, but all together. And Krishna, as it is described, looked inside of his own heart and he saw the very essence of his love towards Radharani. And he took this essence out in the form of a seed. And then he planted that seed into the ground, and then it started growing and growing and growing and growing into big hill and then mountain. And it continued to grow and it threatened to cover the entire Goloka Vrindavan. So Krishna had to stop this growth by his own hand. And then this mountain had everything, whatever Radharani wanted. And so Govardhan became the best place, the most favorite place for their pastimes. So we can understand that Govardhan is not a mere mountain. It consists of pure Krishna's love towards Radharani, but it appears in the form of a mountain. So it's very special. I mean, we can understand how Govardhan is non-different from Krishna. Because this is what Krishna said in the previous chapter, that Govardhan is me. But then Radharani says that Govardhan is Hari Dasa Varyo, the best servant of the Supreme Lord. So seeming contradiction that Krishna says one thing, but Radharani says different thing. So when we find these kind of contradictions, we can understand that both are correct, both statements are correct, that Govardhan is Krishna, but he is playing the role of his of Krishna's devotee, facilitating all the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So, and then when Krishna came to this world, he brought Braj and Govardhan with him. So that's how special Govardhan is. And, you know, Govardhan is such an ecstasy of love that he didn't really care about, you know, Indra striking him with thunderbolts, and sometimes he didn't even feel it because he was so ecstatic that Krishna lifted him with his own hand. Okay, text 21.
नत्रासैह वः कार्यो मद्दस्ताद्रिनिपातनात् वातवर्षभयेनालं तत्रानं विहितं हि वः.
You should have no fear that this mountain will fall from my hand, and don't be afraid of the wind and rain. For your deliverance from these affections of afflictions has already been arranged.
Okay. No purpose in here. So we move to next text 22.
तथा निर्विवृशुर्गर्तं कृष्णाश्वासितमानसः यथावकाशं सधनाः सव्रजासगो सोपजीवनः.
Their minds thus specified by Lord Krishna, they all entered beneath the hill, where they found ample room for themselves and all their cows, wagons, servants, and priests, and for all other members of the community as well.
All the domestic animals in Vrindavan were brought beneath Govardhan Hill for shelter.
Okay. Yeah, we can appreciate their hesitancy, 7-year-old boys holding them all just with his little finger. And looks pretty scary, right? But still they trusted Krishna. Next, 23.
शुद्रुद्यतां सुखापेक्षां हित्वा तैर्वजवासिभिः वीक्षमाणो दधाराद्रिं सप्ताहं नाचलत् पदात्.
Lord Krishna, forgetting hunger and thirst and putting aside all consideration of personal pleasure, stood there holding up the hill for 7 days as the people of Raja gazed upon him.
According to the Vishnu Purana, Vrajaka Vashibir Harsha Vishmitak Sher Nirishita Gopa Gopi Janer Hishte Pritu Visparitexene Samstuyamana Charita Krishna Shailamadharayat. Lord Krishna held up the mountain while his praises were chanted by the residents of Vraja, all of whom now had the opportunity to dwell together with him, and who glanced at him with joyful and amazed eyes. Thus the cowherd men and women were all elated, and out of loving affection they opened their eyes wide. By continuously drinking the nectar of the beauty and sweetness of Sri Krishna, the residents of Vrindavan felt no hunger, thirst, or fatigue. And Lord Krishna, by seeing their beautiful forms, also forgot about eating, drinking, and sleeping. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur points out that 7 days of continuous rain from the Samvartika clouds failed to flood the district of Mathura because the Supreme Lord, simply by his potency, immediately dried up the water as it fell to the ground. Thus, Krishna's lifting of Govardhan Hill is full of fascinating details and has for thousands of years remained one of his most famous pastimes.
Yeah, it was indeed very uplifting experience for all Brajabasis, right? And yeah, it's amazing how Indra was trying to create so much trouble, but actually he brought all the devotees together around Krishna, and actually he solved the biggest problem which existed in Vrindavan, because there are so many devotees, but Krishna is only one, and every group of devotees, they wanted to be with Krishna all the time, but it was not possible because, it's like nighttime is for gopis exclusively. Krishna even sacrifices his sleep, right, for gopis. And morning and evening is with parents, elderly, gopas and gopis, and daytime is with cows and cowherd boys. So this is how it is divided. But when Krishna is with one group of devotees, everybody else feels great separation from Krishna. and everybody is wishing that they would be with Krishna all the time with no interruption. So now Krishna achieved that purpose by allowing Indra to create this situation, and then under the Govardhan hill they were all together, and they were in such an ecstasy that their desire got fulfilled, that they completely forgot about eating, drinking, sleeping, because they were enjoying. It's like long standing dream got fulfilled. And so it is like that sometimes in life, that in Russia there is an interesting proverb that we would never be lucky if the bad luck would not help us. I don't know if you can relate to that, but sometimes it is like that, that some trouble creates a situation in which you become very lucky, counterintuitively enough. And yeah, I heard after I became devotee, I heard one episode which happened in Mayapur at the end of Srila Prabhupada's manifested pastimes in 77. Some dacoits attacked Mayapur. Actually, there are three troublesome categories in that area. One is communists, the other one is dacoits, and another one is Muslims. And oftentimes these are the same people. They are the Muslims, they are the communists, and they are the dacoits. And so, like, huge group of these people attacked Mayapur. Bhavananda Prabhu was there, Maharaj at the time, and he was even shooting. And then he was arrested and put in jail. But Prabhupada said, yeah, he was doing right thing because he was protecting the devotees. Luckily, nobody got killed, but one of the attackers, he threw a bomb, and there was another Prabhupada disciple who was defending Mayapur, and his name was Bhakti Swami. And the bomb blast blew off his leg. And yeah, he's one leg. He only has one leg. And I remember when I was a young devotee, I heard that story, and I was a little bit disturbed. I was thinking, devotees are serving Krishna, dedicated their lives to Krishna. So why Krishna would not protect, such a nice devotee, and then suddenly this thing happened to him? And so no matter what devotees tried to explain to me, I still was not satisfied with the explanation. And one time I was with Bhakti Bringa Govinda Maharaj, and he told me the story with all the details because he knew that quite well. He was in India at the time. And he said Bhakti Raghav Maharaj was born crippled. He only had one leg properly working, and his second leg was dry and was dysfunctional. So he was like that from his childhood. He could not use the leg and would always just use crutches, and this dysfunctional leg was just hanging there. And he said it was always causing trouble because he had problem keeping the balance with this leg, you know, swinging back and forth. And the doctors were recommending him to just, you know, amputate it, remove it, because, you know, it serves no purposes. And when he became devotee, he was thinking, I have to do it, you know, just to make it easier for myself. But he, you know, because he was so busy with so many services, he could never find time to just go through that surgery. And then this attack happened, and they threw the bomb, and the bomb blew off that very leg and blew it off exactly where, you know, it had to be removed. And so he said, Bhakti Rasayana Maharaj was so happy, you know, like, okay, I could never find time to go for the surgery, but then Krishna arranged that surgery on his own, like that. So very interesting. And yeah, he said it really became so much more comfortable after that was done. And, you know, this leg is not swinging anymore while he's walking, etc. So interesting. Sometimes, you know, troubles, they help us to get benefits, and of course the greatest benefit is that they can bring us closer to Krishna. So let's see, anyone had something like that, any experience in life that certain troubles provided you with some benefits and maybe brought you closer to Krishna? I think we kind of discussed something similar before, but if anyone wants to share. I think Mahaprabhu shared before how his mistake in the bank made him more, because he honestly reported that, and it helped to develop a lot of trust in him and resulted in promotion and so many other benefits. So anyone else wants to share?
Maharaj, it's Brihat here.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maybe it's not directly on me, but I would like to share, like we got married in 2011, and Utkarshni came here to this country in 2012 March. And I was then with ISKCON, and I was going to the temple. I was kind of associated, but I was trying to bring her to the temple almost like 7, 8, 10 months, and she never came. Maybe once or twice she came, and that too very occasionally, not even for Rath Yatra. Although from an Indian background, we knew most of the things, but she wasn't getting that connection to come. But we just went on. But in 13, when she actually had some serious health issues, it so happened some devotees came regularly to the house and was trying to preach, and then she actually took it up seriously, and she started chanting and coming to the temple. So in one sense, maybe if things would have all gone well, at the time she was also working and in IT and all that, I don't know whether things could have kind of transformed in the way it is now. Maybe we would have made some money and gone in a different direction also, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with all the health crisis and things over the years again and again, it kind of made strong in the practice in one sense,
Mm-hmm.
which wouldn't, I think it couldn't have happened otherwise. Possibly.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. So Krishna scared Utkarshani out of material life, right?
Yes.
So, and we're benefiting because, you know, if she would not practice devotional service, who would be reading Bhagavatam Sanskrit verses for us, right?
Definitely, Maharaj. I have to share one more thing. Actually, before our marriage, my Guru Maharaj, Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj, couple of the disciples in Chennai, they were requesting to do some translation in Tamil. Whatever Guru Maharaj's lecture, he was wanted to be translated in Tamil. But then I had the strong desire. She is very good in Tamil. Somehow she has to take up that service, but it never happened. It so happened after 7 years, she's now doing the transcription, and that is coming to reality actually.
Coming as?
Reality in the sense she's now transcribing everything, which I thought about it 10 years back that she should do, but it happened now. Maybe in the last 2 years, she started doing all the transcriptions.
And what was the stimuli for that?
What was that?
What stimulated her? What pushed her in this direction?
I will ask her. I will ask her to answer this, Maharaj.
Okay.
As he was sharing, my health was down and I couldn't do like most of the services, or I was regularly cooking in the temple and things like that. I couldn't go to the temple regularly. I was kind of homebound. So I thought this is one kind of service which I can do sitting at home. So I picked that up. And that is the time when they posted that they want volunteers to transcribe Guru Maharaj's lectures. So I also enrolled and I just started.
Very good. Best opportunity to fully kind of absorb yourself in that is to transcribe, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Good. So let's go to the next text, 24.
कृष्णयोगानुभावं तं निशम्येन्द्रोऽति विस्मितः निस्तम्भो भ्रष्टसङ्कल्पः स्वान्मेघान् संयमारयत्.
When Indra
Can you
observed,
read? Yeah, sorry. Can you read the Devanagari with Karshani?
Yes, Maharaj.
Oh yeah, okay, that's good. All right, thank you.
when
Translation.
Indra observed his exhibition of Lord Krishna's mystic power, he became most astonished. Pulled down from his platform of false pride and his intentions thwarted, he ordered his clouds to desist.
Yeah. So no purport in here, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, his pride deflated, Indra withdrew the clouds out of fear that Krishna would punish him. So he realized that he was dealing with the Supreme Lord here. And then he realized how grievous was his mistake, right? So that was the point of humility. He was not humble, but he was humiliated. So 25.
व्याभरम् उदितादित्यं वातवर्षं च दारुणं निशम्योपरतं गोपान् गोवर्धनधरो ब्रवीत्.
Seeing that the fierce wind and rain had now ceased, the sky had become clear of rain clouds, and the sun had risen, Lord Krishna, the lifter of Govardhan Hill, spoke to the cowherd community as follows.
Lifter of Govardhan Hill, Govardhan Dhara. Next, 26.
निर्यातत्यज तत्रासन् गोपाः स्त्रीधनार्भकाः उपारतं वातवर्षं व्यूढप्रायाश्च निम्नगाः.
Lord Krishna said, "My dear cowherd men, please go out with your wives, children, and possessions. Give up your fear. The wind and rain have stopped, and the river's high waters have subsided."
Okay. Oops, next. 27.
ततस्ते निर्युर्गोपा स्वं स्वम् आदाय गोधनं शकटोदोपाकरणं स्त्रीबालस्तविरस्य क्षणैः.
After collecting their respective cows and loading their paraphernalia into their wagons, the cowherd men went out. The women, children, and elderly persons gradually followed them.
Okay. So no purport, but Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti says that after loading their goods on the carts, the coward men emerged from under the mountain and that's it. "28.
भगवानपि तं शैलं स्वस्थाने पूर्ववत् प्रभुः पश्यतां सर्वभूतानां स्थापयामास लीलया.
While all living creatures looked on, the Supreme Personality of Godhead put down the hill in its original place, just as it had stood before.
Mhm.
तं प्रेमवेगानिर्वृत्तव्रजोकसो यथा समेयुः परिरम्भनादिभिः गोप्यश्च स्वस्नेहमपूजयन् मुदा दद्यक्षताद्भिर्युयुजुः सदाशिषः.
All the residents of Vrindavan
Translation.
All the residents of Vrindavan were overwhelmed with ecstatic love, and they came forward and greeted Sri Krishna according to their individual relationship with him, some embracing him, others bowing down to him, and so forth. The cowherd woman presented water mixed with yogurt and unbroken barley corns as a token of honor, and they showered auspicious benedictions upon him.
Purport.
Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur explains that each of the residents of Vrindavan regarded Krishna in his own way, as an inferior, younger member of the community, as an equal, or as a superior, and they dealt with him accordingly. Krishna's superiors offered auspicious benedictions, lovingly smelled his head, kissed him, rubbed his arms and fingers, and inquired with parental affection as to whether he was tired or pained. Krishna's equals laughed or joked with him, and those who were younger fell at his feet, massaged his feet, and so on. The word cha in this verse indicates that the wives of brahmanas, joined with the cowherd ladies to offer auspicious items like yogurt and unbroken grains. Lord Krishna received benedictions such as this: "May you subdue the wicked, protect the decent people, give pleasure to your parents, and be enriched with all wealth and opulence."
Mhm. Very good. So we can see different devotees, they relate with Krishna in different ways according to the rasa. So it's not uniform in a sense. So variety is allowed in the spiritual world. Text 30.
यशोदारोहिणी नन्दो रामश्च बलिनां वरः कृष्णमालिङ्गयुयुजुः आशिषः स्नेहकातरः.
Mother Yashoda, Mother Rohini, Nanda Maharaj and Balram, the greatest of the strong, all embraced Krishna. Overwhelmed with affection, they offered him their blessings.
Very surprising. There is no purport, but Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti gives quite a long purport here. The very special position of Krishna's own mother and other intimate relatives, however, is stated in this verse, beginning with Yashoda. It's not unsuitable to include Balaram in the group that feels parental affection, but Salya Bhava toward Krishna, because Balaram acts in that capacity as Krishna's elder brother. One may object, saying, since Balaram is so affectionate, why didn't he assume his plenary expansion of Ananta Shesha, since he is already holding up the earth and himself, and act the great feat of holding up Govardhan Hill on behalf of his younger brother? The answer is that once Krishna made his decision to stop Indra's sacrifice to worship Govardhan and to leave Govardhan Hill in order to protect the Brajavasis, it would be improper and impossible for Amsha plenary portion Balaram to do anything else. Thus Balaram did not show his powers. As Krishna is the Shaktiman, the possessor of innumerable potencies, by his desire alone, suitable powers will appear when necessary in his Amsha. In succeeding verses, also this conclusion is mentioned. In this regard, sometimes ancient paintings show Krishna as Giridhari, being given butter by his two mothers, Yashoda and Rohini, while Nanda Maharaj and Balaram hold up Govardhan Hill with their heads or sticks. In the Vaishnava Toshanisha, Sanatana Goswami says that this occurred due to being overwhelmed by love. Thus, in this verse, they are described as being beside them, Kadaraha, of their affections, Neha, or Krishna. It's very surprising that there is no purport. I suspect that it's just no. Somehow they didn't include that purport, but it's very interesting one because Balaram could do everything, but because he knew that Krishna wants to do that pastime and sort it out himself, he didn't want to interfere. And that's important part of being Krishna conscious, is that we become so sensitive that we actually can read the minds, right? So Balaram could read Krishna's mind, and he didn't want to interfere, show his power, because Krishna wanted to show his. And yeah, my understanding is that this kind of sensitivity and, you can say, intuition comes or develops by the chanting of Krishna's names, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 10:10, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam, I give the intelligence to those who serve me with love, how to come to me. And so this is very important, that devotees are guided by that intelligence. So we only have 3 more verses. 31.
दिवि देवगणा सिद्धा साध्या गन्धर्वचारणाः तुष्टूर्वमुचस्तुष्टा पुष्पवर्षाणि पार्थिव.
In the heavens, O king, all the demigods, including the Siddhas, Sadhyas, Gandharvas, and Charanas, sang the praises of Lord Krishna and showered down flowers in great satisfaction.
Mhm.
The demigods in heaven were just as jubilant as the residents of Vrindavan, and thus a great universal festival took place.
Very interesting, right? Indra is embarrassed, but all the demigods are ecstatic. His subordinates are ecstatic, even though their king is embarrassed. Next text.
शङ्खदुन्दुभयोनेदुर्दिविदेव प्रचोदिताः जगुर्गन्धर्वपतयस्तुम्बुरु प्रमुखानृप.
My dear Parikshit, the demigods in heaven resoundingly played their conch shell and kettle drum, and the best of the Gandharvas, led by Tumburu, began to sing.
And the very last text, 33.
तोनुरक्तैः पशुपैः परिश्रितो राजन् सुगोष्ठं सबलो व्रजद्धरे तथा विधान्यस्य कृतानि गोपिका गायन्त्यैयुर्मुदिता हृदि स्पृशः.
Surrounded by his loving cowherd boyfriends and Lord Balaram, Krishna then went off to the place where he had been tending his cows. The cowherd girls returned to their homes, singing joyfully about the lifting of Govardhan Hill and other glories, deeds performed by Lord Krishna, who had so deeply touched their hearts.
Before returning to their homes, the gopis shared intimate association with their lover, Sri Krishna, by exchanging secret glances. Ordinarily, they could not publicly talk about Krishna since they were chaste young girls in a religious village. But now they took advantage of this wonderful exhibition by the Lord and freely sang of his beautiful qualities. It is natural that a young man wants to do something wonderful in the presence of a beautiful young girl. The gopis were the most beautiful and pure-hearted young girls, and Sri Krishna performed the most wonderful activities in their presence. Thus he entered deep within their tender hearts, enlivening their eternal devotion to him.
Okay. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur adds that it should be understood that the gopis had the ability to immediately compose songs about Krishna's pastimes. Quite amazing, right? That one of the quality of a devotee is kavi, very poetic. So it's quite remarkable that they could immediately compose songs, make poetry and melody and sing Krishna's glories on the spot. I was thinking that we actually do have wonderful devotees in ISKCON who have this kind of capacity, who are very poetic and they can make poetry on the spot, and so they can associate with each other in poetry. And of course, these are rare examples, but they are there. And I was thinking that this is actually part of the culture of the spiritual world. Like you see, Bhagavad Gita is a poetry, Srimad Bhagavatam is poetry, and so many other scriptures are also very poetic. And people don't speak prose. They don't speak poetry, they speak prose, right? And because it's material world, but spiritual world means Shriyakanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpataravodruma Pumis Chintamani Ganamai Toyam Amritam Kathaganam Natyam Gamanam Apipam Shipriya Saki. So spiritual world means that because the Supreme Lord is there, then his abode is so amazing that it consists of Kalpataru, the wish-fulfilling trees, and there is no ordinary land, the Druma Bhumis Chintamani. It is wish-fulfilling. It's consisting of touchstones. Actually, I remember there is one painting that Radha and Krishna are sitting, and the whole earth is, the whole land is covered with gemstones. So, and yeah. And yeah, that there are rivers of nectar flowing there, and a lot of Surabi cows are there, and actually nobody, is walking, everyone is dancing, no way. So this is the spiritual world. And I was thinking that we want to impress the world with Krishna consciousness. And one way how we could do that, because one thing devotees are really anxious about is to create communities which would attract people, right? Sustainable communities. And if we could bring together, create a community, create a little village, and bring together all the devotees who have this capacity of making poetry on the spot. And the bridge would be that no one can speak prose, right? Everyone should speak only poetry. You can only imagine how much tourist attraction it would be, right? That the whole, like this village would become famous all over the world. Because nowadays these intentional communities are so popular, and there are different intentional communities, and it's like in Israel there is one intentional community consisting of vegetarians. It's not even spiritually oriented, just they brought vegetarians together. And it's a small village, but it's world famous because it's village of vegetarians, right? But can you imagine that if there would be village of not just vegetarians, but spiritual poets and vegetarians on the top, that would be so much more famous. So yeah, if we take even like one aspect of spiritual culture and develop it nicely, we can impress the whole world with Krishna consciousness. And the words Gopika Hridisha, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, can mean the gopis who touch Krishna in their prema-filled hearts, or who always meditate on Krishna. Or it can mean some very dear gopis whom Krishna embraced to his chest or in his mind. This phrase describes a quality of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Everyone is still with us?
Well, say yes, he's going to feel really bad.
So we finished the chapter. Congratulations. Can you hear me?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay.
Yeah, for a little bit the sound went off, but now we can hear you again.
Okay. So if anyone has any questions or comments, you're welcome to share before we finish. No questions, no comments.
I have a comment actually. I just appreciated what you said about Indra was trying to create trouble for the Vrajavasis, and he ended up bringing them together around Krishna. And I just thought that that was a very nice point. Thank you.
Part of Krishna's plan. And that's why pure devotees, they are never disturbed, undisturbed. Dukesha Dvinamanaha, Bhagavad Gita says. Why they're not disturbed? Because they know that everything is part of Krishna's plan. Whether it is coronavirus or no matter what it is, it's all Krishna's plan. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Your last point about developing the spiritual qualities like poetic is quite interesting, which is derived from the purport, even though it's not explicit in the verse. I think that is quite inspiring comment, Maharaj.
Good, yes. Sometimes create this kind of community of spiritual poets.
Yes.
Good. Anyone else?
Maharaj, I have a question, but not related to today's session.
Yeah.
I was reading 10th canto, 65th chapter, where Lord Balaram visits Vrindavan. And in the verse where this where the Lord placed the water of Yamuna, the goddess Kanti came out and presented him with blue garments, precious ornaments, and a brilliant necklace. In that verse, the purport, it is verse number 31. The purport, the end of the purport, it is said, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti further points out that goddess Lakshmi is the consort of the Lord's plenary expansion Sankarshana, who belongs to the second view. I couldn't understand that. Can you please explain that?
Can you give me the number again?
10:65:31.
10:65:31. So the last statement that Goddess Lakshmi is the consort of the Lord's plenary expansion Sankarshan, who belongs to the second Vyuha. Yes?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah, because Balaram is not different from Krishna. And so that goddess Kanti is non-different from Lakshmi, but she still comes in different form.
Okay.
Yeah, is it helping to understand?
Yes,
Good.
Maharaj.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj.
All right. So, any other questions for tonight? Okay, seems like everyone is happy with whatever we discussed. So, good night and stay safe and stay focused on Krishna while you're in the lockdown situation. Hopefully, already used to it. Not much problems. So yeah, we will have another class tomorrow night, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
So if there are any requests for topics, you can submit them to Prabhu, and we can think about it. All right, so Hare
Maharaj,
Krishna.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. I didn't hear the audio broke up. If there were requests for what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Which request?
No, you said if we had requests for something, we should give them to Mahaprabhu, but I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, for topic. If you
Topics,
want
okay.
some specific topic, yeah, you can discuss that with Mahaprabhu.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. So we'll finish here. Thank you all very much. And hopefully we'll get together tomorrow at the same time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantharaj Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you. Haribol.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.